I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
What is she missing?
Well, look, she's famous, has a lot of followers. I wish she'd message to Mexico and other countries that this isn't a way to enter the country legally, right? 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl that comes across that border. I'm sure many fans of hers. 600% increase in sex trafficking of women and children. There are women and children in this nation right now forced into sexual slavery. Some of these children won't survive. So cry for them. Cry for the 250,000 Americans that died from fentanyl. Cry for the families of thousands of families in this nation who had a permanent separation from their children because they were killed by illegal aliens and they buried them. Help us secure the border, save lives. Send a message out. This is not the way to come across the border. Under Joe Biden, a record number of Americans have died because of the open border policy with fentanyl. A record number of aliens have died crossing the border, 4,000. Historic number of people have died crossing this border. So if you want to help, if you want to cry for those who have suffered because of the open border crisis.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the reactions to Selena Gomez's breakdown on the internet have been coming in. And surprisingly, most people are on the same page. Most people believe that it was inauthentic. Some people believe it was a publicity stunt. She's got that terrible movie at the moment that she's promoting. And people were saying, why film yourself? Why post it?
Picturing her setting up for that makes me laugh, right? So you have a feeling coming on. Imagine you in your life, like something happens, I don't know, you start crying hysterically, like nobody grabs their cell phone. Think about the steps there, right? Oh, I'm sad. I open my Instagram. My life. I am so sorry. My life, is it going? Okay, it's live. Bad sir. I'm so sorry.
Selena Gomez is a great example of it. 422 million followers on Instagram. And first of all, she's the one who starred in that Emilia Perez, which is up for 13 Academy Awards, who's pushing the trans nonsense on Americans and American youth. I mean, I wonder if she's got a thought for what happens to American youth who gets pushed into this when really all they had was some family dysfunction and absolutely no gender confusion, but they get caught in this cult. So she decides to go on Instagram and cry tears about, oh my God, all the illegal children, I guess, who might be subject to deportation. Here it is.
All my people are getting attacked. The children. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
She deleted it after her fans taught her that the majority of the country stands behind these policies. I'm sure she was shocked to get any blowback whatsoever.
And people were pointing out, these are criminals that are being deported. That's the priority at the moment. The first part of the executive order is to get rid of the criminals first. So who exactly are your people, Selena? And we have seen Democrats in particular sympathize with criminals, even more so than they seem to sympathize with the American people, with people who are actually suffering at the moment, and they're dealing with more crime, they're dealing with knowing that their tax dollars are going towards the migrant crisis rather than going towards resources for them. So people are asking, who is she crying for exactly?
Selena Gomez, let me explain something to you oh so quickly. And I told myself I was going to calm down and chill out and be a cool voice of reason on this app, but you people make it really hard. Your people, you're not from Mexico, number one. You were born in Texas, one of the greatest states here in the United States of America. You are afforded rights and privileges that these immigrants do not have. And need I remind you, they are illegal. They broke the law. And most of the criminals, violent criminals who are being taken out of this state, they're not even from Mexico. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, some of them are, and yes, Mexico is receiving deportees back because, again, they broke the law. But to go online crying, put a Mexican flag and say, my people, I'm so sorry. That's a little dramatic if you ask me, right? Do celebrities literally, like, you guys don't need the clout, okay? You are very well off. You have made millions and millions of dollars. Do you just go online and look up trending topics and go, let me sympathize with what's going crazy right now? Where was your outrage for the 400,000 missing children on the border? Where was your outrage for the women and children getting completely taken advantage of and raped on the border? Where was your outrage for Aurora, Colorado? Where's your outrage for North Carolina and LA when billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer money is going to illegal immigrants who are not even citizens of this country? Get a grip, and I'm glad you took that video down because you knew what was coming for you. And any ounce of research would have told you that was wrong and it wasn't going to look good.
Shame on you, Selena Gomez, for fake crying over illegal aliens being deported back to their homeland. I've never seen you cry over the missing and exploited women and children that get trafficked through the southern border into the United States of America. I've never seen you cry over the American citizens that have been hurt or unalived by these same illegal aliens that you're crying for. Selena Gomez, why don't you house these people in your LA mansion or one of your mini homes that you possess? Selena Gomez, you're a fraud and a fake.
Of course, there were people who defended Selena because she was crying. She tugged at people's heartstrings, gullible people. We had Russell Brand saying that she is entitled to her authentic reaction, as anybody would be. But of course, the key word is authentic, and most people simply weren't buying it. And we had Don Lemon.
So now we live in a time where Selena Gomez, even though she is, a wealthy star, she can't have an opinion. She can't post online how she feels about deportations and immigration without being made fun of by the far right or the MAGA folks. What is going on here? This is not what America's about. This is not patriotic. She deserves to be able to have her own opinion. And just like everybody else, just like you folks who are criticizing her, she can state her feelings online, on social media, just like you are.
So there were a lot of people who wanted to give Selena some home truths, who wanted to remind her that she's actually an American, and it makes no sense that she's sobbing over people who shouldn't be here, and most of whom who are being deported at the moment are criminals.
Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You may have one of the worst first. They all have a criminal record?
And welcome to the briefing. If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are a criminal.
So by that very definition, anybody who is here without the proper papers is here illegally and has broken the law. Anybody who breaks the law, any parent who breaks the law, will be separated from their children. If they're convicted or even awaiting trial and they don't get bail, they'll be separated from their children. How about you don't break the law? How about you don't leave your children behind? I said in my first video when I mentioned Selena that she needs to speak to people living in sanctuary cities. These celebrities are so out of touch that all they care about is their political agendas. They don't care about real life.
Look, we're only a week in, and so far, so good. But with approximately 15 million illegals here, probably more, Tom Homan and the DHS will need to move with deliberate speed. They'll need to get creative. Everyone here illegally needs to return home so we can have peace in our home.
And that's regardless of whether they have criminal convictions or not. If they've come here illegally, they need to go home. We don't have unlimited resources. Enough damage has been done by open border policies.
And that's the angle. Joining us now is Vashon Tunsil, Chicago resident and activist, and Joe Borelli, minority leader of the New York City Council. Vashon, Tom Homan's deportations in Chicago, you heard your governor and you've heard your mayor. They're really upset by this. They say, oh, we're not going to interfere, but.
But, okay, I just want to say this. First thing I want to say is thank you, Tom Homan, for doing an absolute great job for cleaning up the city of Chicago. I know you're not done yet. And I have another thing to say to Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker. How do you guys sleep at night knowing that there are rapists out here that committed these heinous crimes against the children and the women? How do you guys sleep at night knowing that we're $500 million in debt when it comes to these illegals? How do these men sleep at night knowing that you're putting illegal immigrants that are committing crimes over the American citizens? I just can't believe that they're doing this.
Exactly. They're putting illegals before the American citizens. What country does that? What message does that send to the people of Chicago? It says, you come last. Same thing when it came to the last administration. They were all about America last. These people are Marxists. They have that mindset. They would have loved for the US to be turned into a third world country. And now we're seeing these cities being destroyed.
Well, and Joe, each illegal immigrant in the United States, I got an illegal alien. Immigrants are the people we welcome in because they want to be part of the national fabric. They want to contribute to the society. But Joe, they cost on average $8,000 a year in subsidies, healthcare, schooling, all the other vouchers they receive from various entities. So the idea that this doesn't cost us anything, this costs us hundreds of billions of dollars.
But all of a sudden, Democrats care about the cost of deporting people. Oh, it's costing millions of dollars to deport people. Are you kidding me? How much do you think it's costing us to keep them here and to house them and to clothe them and to feed them? Giving them prepaid credit cards so they have more options with food. Giving them mopeds, car seats, transportation. It's ridiculous. Again, it's as if they think we have unlimited resources here. And they will bleed us dry while we're fighting to keep afloat because our tax dollars are ridiculously high and we're not even seeing a return on what we pay in because it's all going towards everyone else but us.
Yeah, we have the receipts here in New York. So far, the migrant crisis has cost $6.5 billion with a B out of pocket. Wow. So if there's no other elected official in New York, maybe it's just me, but I want to say thank you to President Trump. Thank you to Tom Homan, because as a taxpayer in this city, I don't know how long we can possibly sustain this wave of illegal people living on our dime. I mean, thankfully, we have seen a reduction in the numbers thanks to some of the work that Trump has done on the border already. So we are closing some of our migrant shelters. But how do we get back that $6.5 billion that could have gone to schools, to hospitals, to nurses, to firefighters, or even, making the flowers in the park grow nicer? All these things were taken from us because the Democratic Party fundamentally failed us at the border and here in our large cities.
Yeah, we're watching homelessness grow exponentially while we're housing migrants. Makes no sense. Our schools are desperately in need of resources, especially in these inner cities where kids can't read at grade level. But we're repurposing schools to house illegals, not repurposing them to help those local children and give them something that will benefit them. No, I believe it was in the south side of Chicago, in one of these stories, a school that was there empty this whole time, and then all of a sudden they start repurposing it for illegals. No police presence in these inner cities, but where the illegals were, where the shelters were, they made sure to increase the security around there.
Well, Vashon, what's happening in places like Fairfax County, Virginia, which is right outside of D.C., is a very wealthy area, but the public schools have seen a decrease in enrollment. COVID, but a lot of the politics in public schools, a lot of especially Christian parents have pulled their kids out. So the illegal influx of students is actually helpful to the teachers' unions, a whole new generation to propagandize to, I guess. So that's also kind of an unholy alliance, along with Catholic Charities, sadly, Lutheran Services, all these other NGOs.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. We have to just start putting Americans first. Like, it's just as simple as that. And I believe Tom Homan is doing the right job when it comes to putting Americans first. And I just want to say this to all the criers out there who are crying over the undocumented immigrants who's been here for years and whatever, like Selena Gomez. Tom Homan has already made this clear. If you are here illegally, you're not off the table. You are committing a crime within itself if you're here illegally in America.
Yeah, I mean, again, but they just want to say, oh, that doesn't matter. Well, that's why we have millions of people here, Joe. It does. If they told the world that if you come here illegally, you can stay indefinitely. They broadcast that to the world, and you in New York are suffering, and you in Chicago and Oakland and St. Louis and little towns across America, you're all suffering as a result, Joe.
Right. I mean, Tom Homan's fundamentally right. He talked about consequences as being the negative and being the reason people don't come. But the consequences when they're giving you free stuff and free health care and free schools and fundamentally the life that many of them do hope for, of course, more people are going to come. It doesn't take a genius to realize it. In fact, even Eric Adams tried to fly down to South America at one point during this crisis to try to convince people that this wasn't in their best interest. But until we stop giving them, basically everything they possibly need for free, they weren't going to stop coming. That changed when Donald Trump took office on day one, and I suspect it's going to get better from here on in.
This has gone on for too long, and I'm still hoping that Trump can actually rectify the damage that has been done. I'm sure he's going to make a lot of progress and we're going to see great improvements. We've already seen improvements. It's only been a week, so I'm hopeful. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.